You've seen Mickey wave, pose, and even blink. But did you know that inside that famous smile is one of Disney's most fascinating secrets? For decades, Imagineers have been quietly perfecting the art of bringing cartoon characters to life. Literally. Hidden inside those cheerful faces are tiny motors, blinking eyes, and a bit of engineering magic that makes the impossible seem effortless. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal how Disney characters actually blink and even talk, and why this small detail changed the entire theme park experience forever. Because once you learn how it all works, you'll never look at that friendly wave from Mickey the same way again. The illusion of life. Walt Disney always said the key to good storytelling was one word: believability. When he and his animators first brought Mickey Mouse to life in the late 1920s, Walt wasn't just inventing a cartoon. He was creating a personality, someone who laughed, cried, and reacted to the world just like we do. That same philosophy guided everything Walt built afterward, from animated films to the theme parks. His dream was to make people forget they were watching something artificial. Some of his top animators even referred to it as the illusion of life. You can see that dream in the very first audio animatronics, like the talking birds of the Enchanted Tiki Room in 1963, and later, the eerily lifelike President Lincoln, who debuted at the 1964 World's Fair. Each of these figures represented a huge leap forward. Movements powered by hydraulics, synchronized sound, and even breathing motions. But even with all those advances, there was still one frontier Disney couldn't quite master: making Mickey Mouse himself come alive in the parks. For decades, Mickey meet and greets were charming but simple. The same wide-eyed smile, the same static face, no blinking, no speaking, just hugs, waves, and pantomime. The illusion worked through heart and performance, not technology. Still, Imagineers never stopped wondering, what if Mickey could blink? What if he could really talk to guests, laugh, react, maybe even carry on a short conversation? It took half a century, but eventually, Disney decided to try. The birth of talking characters. In the late 2000s, a secret group of engineers and costumers inside Walt Disney Imagineering began working on something they called the Next Generation Character Initiative. The goal was simple but revolutionary: give Disney's most beloved walk-around characters the ability to move their eyes and mouths, and eventually even talk. Between 2008 and 2010, early prototypes appeared behind closed doors. They looked like normal Mickey costumes, but instead, the heads were tiny servo motors, the same kind used in advanced robotics. These servos controlled blinking eyelids and jaw movement, synchronized perfectly with audio. Then, in May 2010, the unthinkable happened. At Disneyland in California, Toontown to be exact, guests met the first talking Mickey Mouse. Videos of those early meet and greets spread fast online. You can still find them: Mickey walking out, waving, blinking, and talking back. His voice matched every syllable. His eyes moved naturally as he looked from child to parent. The reactions were pure Disney magic. Kids squealed, parents gasped, even lifelong fans were speechless. One guest described it as watching a cartoon step into the real world. And honestly, that's exactly what Disney wanted. Imagineers had always used the phrase "from drawing to doing." They wanted to close the gap between the characters we loved on screen and the ones we met in person. This is how Imagineers pulled it off. Inside that costume was a carefully engineered blend of robotics and performance. The performer didn't actually speak. Instead, they used buttons hidden in Mickey's gloves to trigger pre-recorded phrases. Each button played a specific line like, "Hiya, pal," or "Gosh, it's great to see ya," while a tiny processor inside the head synced the mouth movement and blinking automatically. To guests, it looked spontaneous. Mickey was really talking to them. But backstage, it was an elaborate choreography of technology, timing, and talent. The blinking itself came from an ingenious set of servos placed near the performer's forehead. Every few seconds, the eyes would close and open in a lifelike rhythm, even adjusting the blink speed depending on the expression. When Mickey laughed, the blinks were quick and playful. When he paused, they slowed. It was such a subtle detail, but it changed everything. For the first time ever, Mickey felt alive. He could express emotion, react, and truly connect, not through pantomime, but through something as simple and human as eye contact. Guests would leave those meet and greets grinning, believing he actually talked to me, never realizing that what they'd witnessed was one of the most complex pieces of wearable robotics Disney had ever built. Of course, as amazing as that technology was, it also raised a new question. What else was going on inside that smiling head? Because if you've ever wondered what it's really like to perform as Mickey when he could talk, blink, and move like that, well, that's a story all its own. But first, if you're planning your next Disney adventure, let me save you a little magic for your wallet. Make sure you check out Undercover Tourist. They're one of the few authorized Disney ticket sellers that offer real tickets at discounted prices. No gimmicks, no fake barcodes, just the same genuine tickets you'd buy from Disney directly for less. They'll even help you compare park hopper options and hotel deals so you can stretch your Disney budget farther. Maybe enough for an extra Dole Whip or two. You can use the link in the description to get started. Alright, back to our story. Inside the head. How it works. So, what was it actually like inside a talking Mickey head? It turns out, it's not just foam and smiles. It's a tiny marvel of engineering. Inside, there's a small framework that holds several servo motors, the same kind used in advanced robotics and camera gimbals. These servos power the blinking eyes and the mouth, each one precisely calibrated to match Mickey's famous expressions. When the performer triggers a phrase using the buttons in their gloves, a miniature processor hidden in the costume's chest activates the motors in perfect sync. The eyelids move, the mouth opens and closes, and the sound of Mickey's voice, pre-recorded by Brett Iwan, Disney's official voice actor for Mickey, plays through a hidden speaker. All of it happens in milliseconds. To a guest, it looks like real conversation. To the performer, it's a dance of rhythm, muscle memory, and focus. The inside of the head is lined with cooling vents to help manage the heat from the servos, plus lightweight padding to keep everything stable when Mickey moves or spins. There's even a subtle hum, that faint electric buzz of tiny motors in motion. Many performers say once you're inside, you stop hearing it consciously, but you can feel it. A soft vibration like a heartbeat that keeps the magic alive. The most impressive part is that everything inside that head weighs just a few pounds. Imagineers spent years finding a way to fit all that technology into something performers could wear for hours at a time without discomfort or strain. And yet, for all its clever design, being Mickey wasn't exactly a walk in the park. The performer's perspective. Now, imagine this. You're inside that iconic Mickey suit. You can't see much, just a small view through the mesh eyes. It's dark, it's hot, and the air feels heavy from the insulation and padding. Around you, the park is buzzing, kids laughing, parades playing, fireworks booming in the distance, and you're carrying the weight of the most recognizable character on Earth. You can't talk freely, you can't take off the head if something goes wrong, and now, with this high-tech version, you also have a set of mechanical systems sitting inches from your own face. Every blink, every smile, every word you say comes from perfect timing. If you miss a cue or press the wrong button, Mickey's mouth could move off sync, breaking the illusion. If a servo stalls mid-blink, his eyes could freeze open. That's a lot of pressure when you've got 50 people waiting for hugs and photos. Performers train for weeks to master this, learning to time the button presses, sense the rhythm of the responses, and keep the performance natural even when it's 95 degrees outside. It felt like puppeteering from the inside. They were essentially controlling a miniature animatronic with their own body. Despite the challenges, many described it as the most rewarding experience of their careers. They got to see firsthand the awe on a child's face when Mickey actually talked to them. It wasn't just acting anymore, it was connection. Still, to keep that connection seamless, there had to be an entire system running in the background, one that most guests never even realized existed. Disney's hidden control rooms. During Mickey's talking character era, Disney set up small monitor booths just offstage. These technicians could adjust the audio sync, manage lighting, and make sure everything, including the animatronic face, was working properly. If a sensor reported a temperature spike or a servo stopped responding, they could alert the performer instantly to step backstage. It was a bit like a live broadcast. One performer on camera, a whole team working behind the curtain. This partnership between performer and technician is what made those early Talking Mickey experiences so believable. Think of it like The Muppets, where puppeteers rely on camera feedback, except here, it was happening inside a real-life theme park, surrounded by guests. Even parade characters used similar support systems. Some had remote triggers that allowed technicians to control expressions or timing from afar. It wasn't just Mickey. Early tests for Minnie, Donald, and Goofy used versions of the same setup. The idea was to create a future where every character could talk, blink, and react on the fly. You wouldn't just meet them, you'd have a real two-way interaction. For a while it worked beautifully, but maintaining that magic, that was another story. Behind the smiles, this system took an enormous amount of coordination, maintenance, and energy. The suits required constant repairs, the servos wore out, and those backstage teams had to be on call constantly to keep everything running smoothly. Disney had achieved the dream, a Mickey who could truly talk. But they had also created one of the most complex pieces of live theater in the world. And that complexity came with a cost. So far, we've talked about the wonder, the technology, the performance, and the incredible teamwork that brought Mickey Mouse to life like never before. But here's where things take an unprecedented turn. Because for all the joy this innovation brought, something about it didn't sit quite right. The technology was fragile, the maintenance was expensive, and for some guests, especially young kids, the effect was too real. There's a fine line between magic and the uncanny, and Disney was about to discover that sometimes, when the illusion gets too perfect, it can break the spell entirely. In our next section, we'll explore why Disney quietly pulled the plug on its talking characters and what surprising lessons they learned in the process. Why Disney stopped using them. By 2018, something quietly changed at the parks. Guests who had once chatted with the Talking Mickey at Town Square Theater in Magic Kingdom started to notice he'd gone silent again. No announcement, no big explanation, just gone. Disney never gave an official reason, but cast members and insiders began sharing the story, and it turns out the decision wasn't made lightly. The Talking Mickey meet and greets were an incredible achievement, but they came with challenges that even Disney Magic couldn't completely fix. First, there was the technology itself. The servo motors and synchronization systems were incredibly complex, and they worked hard. Every blink, every smile, every movement added wear and tear. Maintenance crews were replacing parts almost daily, and downtime meant longer lines or canceled meet and greets. Then came the timing issue. For Mickey to respond naturally, everything, the buttons, the sound, the blinking, the mouth movements, had to line up perfectly every single time. Even a half-second delay could turn magic into confusion. And then there was the human side. Performers described the experience as thrilling but exhausting. Staying in perfect sync with a mechanical system for hours, in costume under hot lights, wasn't easy. A tiny mistake could break the illusion, and for Mickey Mouse, the stakes were always sky high. But perhaps the biggest reason Disney retired the Talking Mickey was simpler. The illusion worked a little too well. For younger kids, seeing Mickey blink and speak in real time could feel a bit uncanny, a touch too lifelike. Imagine a 3-year-old meeting the cartoon they've only ever seen on screen, and suddenly he's talking directly to them, blinking like a person. Later, that same child would see Mickey, perhaps in a parade, and it would be back to frozen faces and waving, maybe not recognizing the child from earlier. The inconsistency broke the magic for many young hearts. Disney noticed, and because the guest experience always comes first, they decided to step back. One by one, the Talking Mickeys were phased out. By 2018, the last of them had quietly retired from daily meet and greets, replaced once again by the classic smiling Mickey we all grew up with. Still, that brief moment in Disney history left a lasting impression because the technology wasn't abandoned, it was just waiting for its next chapter. the legacy, and what's next. Even though talking Mickeys are no longer greeting guests in the parks, the innovations behind them are still shaping Disney's future. The same servo technology, facial animation systems, and real-time performance controls became the foundation for some of Disney's most advanced animatronics ever built. Take Hondo Ohnaka, the smuggler who guides you through the Millennium Falcon smuggler's run at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. He's one of the most complex freestanding animatronics in the world, capable of hundreds of tiny fluid movements, all powered by descendants of the systems first used inside Mickey's talking head. Then there's Project Kiwi, Disney's experimental robotic character platform. In 2021, Imagineers unveiled a free-roaming, life-size Baby Groot robot that can walk, wave, and even dance, completely untethered. It's the ultimate evolution of that dream Walt started nearly a century ago. Characters that feel truly alive. And there's more on the horizon. In Tokyo Disney Sea's upcoming Fantasy Springs expansion, Imagineers continue to push realism further than ever before. From subtle eye blinks to breathing motions, the legacy of Mickey's brief talking era lives in every new figure that moves with personality and warmth. What's fascinating is that Disney isn't chasing perfection for perfection's sake, they're chasing emotion. Because whether it's Mickey or Moana or Grogu, the goal has always been the same: to make guests feel something real. And that brings us full circle to the heart of the story. For nearly a century, Disney has been blurring the line between fantasy and reality, all in the name of one powerful idea: that magic doesn't have to stay on a screen. It can step into your world, smile, wave, and say hello. When Mickey first learned to talk and blink, it wasn't just about technology, it was about believability that created a sense of connection. For those few short years when guests could have a real conversation with Mickey, when a little boy could say hello and hear Mickey answer back, "Hiya, pal," reminded everyone why these characters matter so much. They're living pieces of our childhood, our families, and our happiest memories. The blinking eyes, the moving mouth, they're just tools. The real magic has always come from the people inside the costumes and the Imagineers who never stop asking, what if? Walt Disney once said, "Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world." And you can see that spirit alive in every park and new experiment, from talking Mickeys to walking Baby Groots. Maybe one day, you'll meet a fully autonomous Mickey again. Maybe he'll laugh, blink, and chat naturally just like a friend. And maybe, just maybe, you'll smile and forget for a moment that it's all made of circuits and servos. Because when the magic works right, it's never about the technology, it's about you. And that's what makes Disney magic truly timeless. What was your most magical experience at Disney? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read about your favorite memories in the parks. If you enjoyed this dive into the fascinating world of Disney design and storytelling, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your Disney-loving friends, and subscribe for more insider stories from the parks. And of course, check out the next video on your screen, because we've got even more behind-the-scenes Disney secrets to explore. Your adventure is just beginning.